everyone! Today we're delving into a fascinating topic that's really reshaping early education. I was visiting a preschool last week and saw something that completely challenged my assumptions about classroom design. Want to hear what caught my attention?
Absolutely. I'm really curious to hear about your observation.
A young boy was fully engrossed in the dramatic play area, creating an imaginative culinary scene, while a girl was deeply involved in constructing a remarkable block tower. The noteworthy aspect was that neither seemed concerned about being in the right area.
That's exactly what we're seeing more of these days. It's amazing how children naturally gravitate to what interests them when we remove those invisible barriers of gender expectations. This shift to gender-neutral classroom design isn't just a trend. It's really transforming how we approach early education.
Hmm. I think many of our listeners might be wondering, what exactly makes a classroom truly gender neutral? I mean, is it just about avoiding pink and blue?
Oh, it goes way beyond colors. I'll break this down into three key principles. First, we focus on interests and skills rather than gender. Second, we use inclusive language and imagery throughout the space. And third, we ensure physical accessibility for all children.
Those sound like solid principles. How do you actually implement them in a real classroom setting?
Well, one of the most important strategies is eliminating gender-specific labeling. Rather than having a housekeeping area or construction corner, which might carry subtle gender associations, we opt for descriptive names that emphasize the activities, such as Creative Studio or Discovery Lab.
Makes a ton of sense. Have you ever wondered how these small changes in language can make such a big difference in how children perceive their choices?
Definitely, we need to stock these areas with diverse materials that appeal to different interests and learning styles. For example, in our Builder's Corner, we include traditional blocks, fabric pieces, cardboard tubes, and natural materials.
That's a great point. We'll come back to that in just a moment. But first, a quick word from our sponsor.
Seeking to establish genuinely inclusive learning environments, Little People's Cove knows that every child deserves a space crafted specifically for them. Our commercial grade furniture and toys are skillfully designed to assist in developing motor skills, STEM innovation, and creative play while adhering to the most rigorous safety standards. From pediatric clinics to classrooms, we're aiding professionals in creating spaces where all children can flourish. Visit us at littlepeoplescove.com to view our curated catalog and support our mission of ensuring every child has a place to belong.
And we're back. You were discussing a variety of materials. What other approaches do you suggest for making these spaces more inclusive?
One really effective approach is incorporating diverse representation in materials. We're talking about books, posters, and play materials that show people of all genders engaging in various activities. This shows children that there are no limits to what they can pursue or become.
Right. What about the actual setup of these activity centers? How do you arrange them to promote inclusivity?
Great question. Physical accessibility is vital. We arrange furniture and materials at different heights, create clear pathways between centers, and provide multiple seating options. Additionally, creating inviting spaces encourages all children to participate.
I imagine teacher training plays a big role in this too.
Absolutely. Teachers need to model inclusive language and behavior. When you hear comments like that that's just for boys or girls don't do that, it's an opportunity to challenge these assumptions gently and open up discussions about interests and choices.
You mentioned earlier about dramatic play areas. Could you expand on how to make these spaces more inclusive?
Sure, instead of maintaining a permanent kitchen setup, we can rotate themes to include various community roles. Maybe it's a veterinary clinic one month, a construction site the next, or a restaurant after that. This gives all children the chance to try different roles and develop empathy by experiencing different perspectives.
How do children typically respond to these changes?
You know what's fascinating? Children have a remarkable ability to adapt. When they are allowed to follow their interests instead of adhering to gender expectations, they tend to choose activities that truly engage them. I've observed boys showing enthusiasm for nurturing tasks and girls finding great excitement in engineering projects.
That reminds me, what about storage and organization? Does that play a role?
Oh my goodness, yes. Storage solutions are actually super important. We recommend using color-neutral storage systems or clear containers rather than gender-coded colors. And using picture labels helps children independently access materials while reinforcing that all items are available to everyone.
Have you noticed any particular activities that seem to really break down gender barriers effectively?
Definitely. Open-ended materials like blocks, clay, and loose parts are fantastic because they can be transformed in countless ways. There's no right way to use them, which naturally encourages creativity without gender limitations.
That's fascinating. And what about family involvement? How do you handle that aspect?
It's necessary to communicate with families about our inclusive approach. We explain the educational benefits and often find that parents become strong supporters once they see how these environments allow their children to develop more fully.
Before we wrap up, what would you say is the most important thing for educators to remember when creating gender neutral spaces?
Mhm. I'd say it's not about eliminating differences. It's about widening possibilities. We want to create environments where children can develop their full potential based on their unique interests and personalities, not narrow gender expectations.
That's powerful. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
Yes, this is a continuous process. Begin with small changes, observe how children respond, and adjust as needed. The goal is to create spaces where all children feel valued and empowered to investigate without limitations.
This has been incredibly informative. For our listeners who want to learn more about creating inclusive educational spaces, you can visit littlepeoplescove.com. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure discussing this important topic.